Welcome to my world.
Hello, my friends from all over the world. Here's a new episode of Jørg's World Alive. And today I hope I have, I will have Ryan Neville from New Zealand. We're expecting a little bit of internet issues because of, I think the cable is too long to down under. So we have a little bit problems with the connection, but we're working on it. So let's say hello to Ryan. Let's check if it works. So I will do this layout. Hey Ryan, how are you?
I'm very well.
Our connection is not so fine. Maybe you try reconnecting with your laptop And in between, I'm going to show a nice video you did. And here I have The Devil's Gonna Pay or The Midnight Train. Which one would you prefer?
How does that?
Let's see if that works. Ah, I see.
Hello,
So
how are you?
Much better.
If you could play the Midnight Train would be awesome.
So now the connection works.
Just lost a wee bit of volume here, but there we go. Let's see if we can sort this.
Why the heck are you wearing a hat in your living room?
Hello, my friend. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you absolutely
Wonderful. Oh, that is good to hear. So we might have solved this funny little internet problem.
fine. A little bit. New Zealand Galaxy was also reporting massive problems this week.
Oh, that's a shame. It must be the winter thing, I think.
Maybe. First they were reporting internet issues, then they had a power break, and now they have problems with their domain.
They did. That was unusual. I'm just going to put you down for a second, if that's all right, just so I can put it up on my stand. So I'll be with you in 2 seconds. How does that sound?
No
Good,
problem.
we might have... Great, thanks.
No problem. And hey, you people at home, we were just trying to play a few notes on the guitars. Maybe it will work with that better connection now. So it will be a joy to jam together with Mr. Neville. Yeah. I think it's 7 a.m. in the morning or so there in New Zealand.
It's a little early. Yes, it is, but that's okay. And it's frosty. It's cold here.
Oh, okay. So you are deep in the winter now.
Yeah, we certainly are. We've got snow on the old mountains and things. It looks fantastic. It's just a little cold, that's all.
Okay. So here we should have summer, but it's every evening it's raining cats and dogs here in Germany. So we're still waiting.
Yeah. The seasons have changed around, haven't they?
All over the world. That's
That was a
really
lot of
funny.
fun. It was a lot of fun.
So this was my first time jamming with a guy from New Zealand.
That's the furthest jam I've had, the furthest away I've had.
Okay.
Amazing what
So-
we can do.
So how things are going down under? What
Very,
about the
well-
COVID thing?
Yes, so yeah, not too bad. Again, we were very fortunate compared to other parts of the world. So we've been, very good actually. The last year has been fine. A little, people are a little shy about heading out and going out to shows and concerts, but we have been allowed to pop them on, which has been very helpful to us all, of course. So we were very lucky. Yeah.
Okay, and you are doing shows, or are you planning shows to do?
Yeah, so we've been, so far this year, the Black Magic Tour, we have done 5 shows, which is a little less than what we normally do. We're just sort of taking it slowly. But yes, we've got about another 4 to go between now and the end of the year. Yeah.
Cool, cool. In the middle of the winter, you are going to tour now?
Yeah, I know. We try to stay close to home because the winter and a lot of our roads get closed and things like that, which
Okay.
is not so good when you've sold tickets to shows and people are expecting you there and you can't turn up. But yes, we're hoping to head into summer soonish, which would mean that we can we travel a little bit further. Yeah.
Okay. And I've heard you have some new music.
Yes, excited to kind of, we're always writing, of course, but our Midnight Train album came out a couple of months ago. And yeah, so we've been very fortunate having some good radio play and things, which is always a good thing, and be selling a couple of CDs, which is also another good thing. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so things are going well as far as that goes. So thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So you are touring with your bandmates with the Midnight Band? Midnight
Yes.
Train Band? Midnight? It was something.
Midnight, I know
with
it gets very confusing. It's kind of like what came first? Did the Midnight Train come first, or was it the Midnight Blues Band? So yes, the Midnight Blues Band. Yeah. So basically, we have been together now. We've had a couple of different band members changed over the last couple of years, but in this version, we've been together probably a year and a half now.
Oh, okay. Okay. This soon. And what did you do before that? You were touring alone?
Yeah, so I travelled, I'm just trying to think back now. So previous to that, I was solo for about a year and travelled throughout the States. And kind of hooked up with a couple of friends of mine over there, and we did a couple of shows together and things. And then, of course, came back here back to home and formed the Midnight Blues Band, which has been such a pleasure since. It's nice to play on your own and do solo stuff, but like a lot of musicians say, you can't beat performing with a band.
Yeah, as long as you have some rehearsals and you're a good band and you have good bandmates, I would subscribe at the moment.
Yes. And look, I'm blessed really because, I mean, every member of our band is a very strong member and really, really great friends. We all get on, which of course is a big thing in a band. You have to kind of get on with everyone, and we do. We have a lot of fun together, and I've got a huge amount of respect for every, member of my band. That's for sure. Yeah.
But when you say you were touring in USA, that's a really big thing for coming from New Zealand to USA.
Yes, it's one of those things, isn't it? Is that it's always been something I've wanted to do. Of course, being, enjoying the blues as I had, there was so many places I wanted to see and people to meet, and so yes, it was a huge, goal. But fortunately, having friends over there, that always helps to catch up with them and learn the ropes as such. But it certainly was a nice, wouldn't say a challenge. It was just a nice thing to achieve, I guess. And yeah, so I'm hoping to go back again soon. It's just like everything, time. Play it in the right time. That's right, and having fingers crossed. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Ryan, you know, the question for today is who the heck is Ryan Neville? So how did you come to playing the blues, mate?
Yeah, well, long story short is it was, and that is a very good question because I've always kind of thought about that, like where did it stem from? So yeah, the best way to explain it is that would have been about 15, 16, and when you're that sort of age, you tend to play the guitar, and it's tend to be heavy rock music, you know, as you do. And absolutely. And of course, I was self-taught for a couple of years, and then I thought, well, nice to kind of improve and so on. So I looked through the phone book because, again, I know that this sounds old, but we didn't even have the internet back then. So I looked through the phone book, found a teacher, and went to him, and you know, he said, "Okay, play me something," and you know, similar to the jam that we just had.
Okay.
Okay. And he said, "Hey, look, you seem to be a better blues player than you are a rock player," and that, to be honest, is kind of how it started, just by playing and realizing, well, that's right. As much as I loved rock and still do to this day, I just found that I just had this, I don't know, this need to play the blues, and I really found that style worked really well for me. Yeah.
In the age of 16, you decided to become a bluesman.
Yeah. I've always loved the stories, you know. I've always been, I really enjoy a lot of movies and things like that. So for me, the blues had a lot of cool, interesting stories that kind of went along with that, all these greats and so on, which there is in every, you know, style of music, as we know. But very famous Crossroads, Robert Johnson story, you know, that to me was just it painted a picture for me, which I really enjoyed. So I've kind of always held on to the storytelling that you have within the blues. Yeah.
So you are walking to the next crossroad and waiting for impressions, I guess?
Yes, and I was fortunate enough which is one of my biggest goals, was to go down to, you know, I didn't quite meet anyone at the actual crossroads, but I went to the crossroads. There's stories of people going there at night time, hoping that, you know, they're going to get these magic skills. I didn't quite do that, but I certainly went down to the crossroads. It was a very interesting place, and it was a lot of fun, and played down there a few nights, which was just for me such a big thing that I always wanted to do. Yeah.
To do, yeah.
Yeah.
When I listen to your music, I see that you have a lot of swing stuff in there. Did you start in playing the root blues, or did you start in making the swing and a little bit of Dire Straits? Maybe I can hear.
That's a very good point. I know I pop that in my music. I've never had anyone actually kind of pick that out, but I just, as much as I love lead guitar, I definitely love the rhythm side of things, and anything to me that's got, you know, that's very danceable. And, you know, I'm sure that you have the same, and a lot of people do when they play. You have something that you just do. You don't know why you do it. So, yeah, there's certainly, and to be honest, I don't know where that came from, but there certainly is some kind of swing going on.
We have a guest from India in here. Hello, Cherise. How are you? Can you see the banner? So, should we play the video of the Midnight Train now?
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, then let's have a look if I can find some more famous blues tunes in there, or swing, or heavy metal, or whatever.
Sounds excellent.
Let's listen.
Some days I climb the mountain, some days I swim the sea. There are days when I cannot rest until you're in my arms, lying next to me. Lying next to me. I'm coming home to you, baby. I'm coming home to you, baby. On that midnight train. Midnight train. There are days when I'm feeling happy. There are days when I'm feeling bad. Those days without you I'm alone and I can't help but feel sad. I'm coming home to you, baby. Lord, I'm coming home to you, baby. On that midnight train. Illustrators northbound. It's a smoking stack. Nothing gonna hold me down, 'cause I ain't looking back. I'm coming home on the midnight train. Well, I've been away for too long. Too many nights that I've spent all alone. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home to you, baby. Home to you, baby. On the midnight train. I'm coming home to you, baby. Lord, I'm coming home to you, baby. On that midnight train. On the midnight train.
Yeah. Amazing.
Thank you very much.
So you sing You're Coming Home. Do you have a story about that song?
Well, yeah, I guess it's one of those things. It can mean lots of things. So it could be coming back to something. It's kind of revisiting things in your past. It was kind of like that. It didn't necessarily have a place or a time with that. But it's funny. I always find that with a lot of songs that you kind of, the answer comes later. I know that sounds a bit unusual, but what I mean is that you all of a sudden, I have found that sometimes where I've gone, that's what I was meaning, but I didn't actually know that at the time. But I just love this whole idea of, you know, coming back to something and not necessarily knowing. I know that sounds a bit vague, but my point being is that, you know, that whole trip, it's that whole journey and looking forward to coming back to something. And maybe you don't know what that something is, but coming back to something that makes you feel good, back to normal, back to see people, all of those sorts of things. So the idea was more about just coming back to a time and a place, but not necessarily knowing what that is.
Okay. And you found a human cigarette lighter in New Zealand, I've seen.
Yes, that's yes. So that was a very good friend of mine. He's our sound man and everything else. He's just an absolute fantastic guy. And we thought, why not just pop that in there? He's talked about it forever, and I've never seen him do it. And I thought, well, why don't we just put it in a music video and prove that you can do it? And he certainly did. So
Cool. That's a cool effect. Cool
So that-
high-tech effects.
that's right. Yeah, that day was a lot of fun. we had to be very, you know, as of course anything to do with fire, we have to be very careful, of course. So we made sure we didn't that we did it in a very safe place.
Yes, I see. It was outdoors, and I heard some brass sections in your music. Do you prefer to have brass sections in there now, or do you always usually work with brass in your music?
No, I always find, yeah, as you know, brass to me fills out things and it gives more energy to a song and things like that. I would love to perform with the brass section. It's just, you know, it can be a little awkward sometimes to organize and things along those lines. So, you know, like a lot of times you try to kind of add things in, but then think, well, if I performed that live, I may not have a brass section. So no, I don't always, but I always enjoy recording brass in a lot of my music to fill out that sound. Brass to me is such a happy sound and such bright and kind of makes me smile. So I really love the sound of brass and horns and everything like that. Yeah.
So I'm sure you also love the Brian Setzer orchestra sound.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, and that's it. You know, orchestral music, as we know, is just got such depth to it and such a big. You just feel it. It's just such an amazing. To be a part of something like that, and these bands that do work with orchestras must be an incredible feeling to have that on stage. You know, that big, huge sound, wall of sound. Let's call it that.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the wall of guitar; it's a wall of sound. Then.
Yes, that's it.
But I think you can't play in any place with having a big orchestra with you, and also I think it's a little bit a matter of cost too.
Yeah, it would be nice to do that every single night. It just would, but yeah, it can be expensive, can't it?
Yes, when you imagine a full tour with around 6 months or so doing with a big orchestra, I think it's quite expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be a lot of fun though. It'd be just, you know, be a real blast. But yeah. So some things are just not always, you know, practical, I guess. So a shame. But yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what the internet will bring. Maybe one day we can make online sessions with brass sections, with other musicians, with show guys or something. Let's see what it will bring.
Yeah, and look, and I'm sure we're not too far away from being able to do that, because that would be phenomenal. That would be such a good thing to be able to do, wouldn't it? So to bring onto stage any person, you know, you could get famous artists or your friends, everything like that. It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? To join you on stage via the internet.
Absolutely. Ryan, would you like to play a song for us, maybe?
Yes. So one of our new ones, we're now recently we're starting a performance in about 3 weeks' time where we're doing an unplugged version of the new album, Midnight Train. So I haven't actually performed this unplugged on acoustic because we haven't actually started our rehearsals for it yet. But let's see how this goes. This is a song called Shame, Shame, Shame. So I'll play a wee bit for you.
Okay, then I leave you be for a moment. And
thank you.
Good luck.
And fingers crossed, huh?
Absolutely.
Can't decide on direction. It's 5 to midnight under a blood red moon. I'm alive, so alive. I got my heart on my sleeve and my hands against the wheel. Always passing through the warning signs, and the faces, they look all the same. I'm stuck in between the truth and the lies, and I can't quite remember my name. It's such a shame, shame, shame. Shame, shame, shame. Pack my bag into a suitcase, rising. The sun keeps on rising. With my foot on the floor, I lay back against the seats. Still passing through the warning signs, and the faces, they look all the same. Well, I'm stuck in between the truth and the lies, and I can't quite remember my name. It's such a shame, shame, shame. Just a shame, shame, shame. I'm still passing through those warning signs, and the faces, they look all the same. Well, I'm stuck in between the truth and the lies, and I can't quite remember my name. It's such a shame, shame, shame. Can't help passing through those warning signs, and the faces, they look all the same. Yeah, I'm stuck in between the truth and the lies, and I can't quite remember my name. It's such a shame, shame, shame. Such a shame, shame, shame. And there you go, shame, shame, shame.
Yeah, it's a shame that I
It's a
can't
shame.
come to your concerts.
That is a shame. That's because you're welcome anytime.
I do my best. And do you have a motto for the Midnight Train album, for the new album? Is there a thread going through, or do you have one song after another?
Yeah, I've always been a massive fan of the whole theme album idea, and not that this was intended that way, but to me, a lot of times music can be such a journey. So yeah, so in a way, it is kind of, yeah, so it's been on a train, traveling to different towns, and seeing different people, and just your day-to-day life and things that happen, ups and downs, those sorts of things. So that was in the back of my mind writing these songs. So there is, yeah, a little bit of a theme kind of through these songs. That's for sure. And as I've said before, with in blues songs, we tend to write, the dog died, broke up with your partner. But there's always got to be a train in it. You see, I always say that with the blues, there's, you can't write a blues song without mentioning a train somewhere. So, and I guess that's because that's that whole journey thing. The blues man, the what we see in movies and things like that is that whole journey and traveling and the guitar on your back, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm trying not to write train songs for every song, but it just keeps happening.
You can't avoid, I guess.
That's it. Yes.
So how many songs do we have on the new album? Around 10?
Yes. So the album, it's this strange thing for me, as I tend to keep everything. I think every album I've written is always 10 songs. I don't know where that came from, but it seems to be that marker. It's like 10 songs, I'm done. I'm going to try and break out of that, because I hear, not that I've researched this, but you may know more about this than me, but apparently there's this very famous, I think it's 7 songs. There's something about writing an album. There's some very famous albums from every style of music about writing 7 songs. I don't know what that's about yet, but I might attempt that next time.
You could also write only 5 songs and make it much longer, so that you have 5 songs with each 10 minutes or so. That's no problem in doing the blues.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Well, at least it's easier in some respects to have to not think up 10 songs. 5 would be easier, that's for sure.
Yes, and you can play solo forever, so it wouldn't be a big problem.
Now that would be a shame, wouldn't it? If I had to do solos, that would be a shame.
Okay.
my favorite thing is to do a lead break. That's for sure. So
Yeah, but the solos I've heard so far, you're a brilliant guitar player. And
thank you very much.
when I'm right with that, you are also working as a guitar teacher, or was
Yes,
it? Yeah.
something I really enjoy is to teach. Yeah, it's that feeling, I guess, for me is to give back to people, and because for me it's such a joy to play. In a lot of parts of my life, like most of us, music is very much a common theme. So I really love to kind of give that to people, and so I've been teaching now, as crazy as this sounds, for 30 years. It doesn't seem that long. Yeah, that's right. But I'm sure you'd find it the same as me. A lot of people will say to me, you must be bored of teaching for that length of time. Like a lot of jobs, it can be hard to keep doing something. But I just find it such a joy because it's such a challenge, every new student, and giving them that I don't know, that sense of enjoyment, that buzz, that achievement, all of those things, and to watch a student grow, and and to come up with new challenges. Like if they find something a little bit tricky, nice, it's my challenge and then my goal to find a way to make that easier for them. And such a joy to see people enjoy. And I'm sure the same with you. You have different students that come. A lot say to me they just like it to unwind and relax at the end of the day. Some people, they want to perform in bands. Some people want to be songwriters. So it's really, really nice to see people enjoying playing. That's for sure. So I love to teach. It's something I really enjoy. Yeah.
Yes, you're true. The easy part is buying a guitar and start playing. The hard is when you see, oh, I have to do some work with the guitar, and I have to do it instantly every day because of the muscle memory and so on and so on. Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
It is.
I'm doing classical guitar and strumming guitar, and some of the guys have become really good lead players also. But here in Germany, it's a little bit hard to find band colleagues and to find venues for gigs and so on. Is that easier down there in New Zealand to find venues to play?
No, it's again, being very small here. We have a population of 5 million, so we're still quite little. So we don't have many places to play, which is unfortunate. So it's same in that respect, and it is a shame because there's a lot of people who like to play and want to be in bands, of course, but there just really isn't the venues for them to play. I mean, sadly, as a few people may know, quite a few years back now, we had a major earthquake. So our city is still being rebuilt. And we all have our fingers crossed that we get some very good venues built for us to perform at. I mean, in saying that, with the ones we do have are amazing. We have a lot of we tend to play at a lot of theatres. So there's some stunning theatres that we enjoy to play at. But we did lose quite a few venues, unfortunately, due to the earthquakes, which again we're hoping is going to be rebuilt. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about that a few months ago. Barbara and Grant were talking about earthquakes.
Yes, now we're still getting these aftershocks, which is, every time if you've been through something like that, anytime you hear a truck drives by and there's a little shake in the house, you just unfortunately have that sense of panic because you remember what an earthquake felt like. So we're still getting these aftershocks, which isn't good. And yeah, I can't remember the total now of how many we've had since the major earthquakes, but it's in the tens of thousands. So yes, probably I'd almost say averaging every month we would get a small shake still. Okay. And there's some months we get 4 or 5 in a day, so it's but yeah, it's just a shame because people are still on edge because of that.
Is that a new phenomena or do you know it from your childhood, the earthquakes?
Yeah, so I remember Only little ones. So we only had when I was a child. So, but so 10 years ago is when we had a major shakes and things like that. But yeah, no, I don't recall that many as a child. But yes, it's still the count has been based around the ones we had 10 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. And when you say you have not so much venues, what are the New Zealand people listening to? What kind of music, or what do they use? Are they Spotify listeners like here in Germany, or what do they do in their free time?
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, it's we have a wide range of music that people enjoy. I always laugh because it's a wee bit tough trying to be a blues player and write blues music because it's not. Yeah, we don't have that many compared to other styles of music. So, you know, we really respect the fans that we do have that come to our shows because there's not a huge amount compared to rock and pop and things like that. But it's good to know that we have some very strong blues clubs throughout New Zealand and things as well. And yes, we tend to be enjoying Spotify, and there's so many platforms as we know these days. But yeah, I always ask my students, that's the other bonus about teaching, is you get to meet a whole wide variety of age groups, things like that, and walks of life. And I always constantly ask, and so Spotify seems to be the major thing. We're getting country rock is becoming a big thing here now.
Oh, okay.
So, you know,
USA?
age groups of even some of my students that are like between 10 and 16 are now starting to bring me in these country rock artists, which I would have never have thought that they, A, would have heard because we don't get a lot of that here, and B, wouldn't really be, you know, interested in. So it's really good to see that style of music come through.
So where does this new influence come from? I also have been told in England they love the country music too. Where does that come from now?
Yeah, well, I guess that's it, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of we get a lot of due to Netflix and things like that. We get a lot of American music and TV shows and things like that. And strangely enough, I don't know, Jørg, if you're finding this, but a lot of my students are bringing in games. I never thought my wildest dreams that I'd be teaching people music from games. So they're
yeah.
So that's something new. So maybe a lot of it's coming through because there's a lot of new games being brought out for PlayStation, you know, etc. So maybe it's that. But yes, we do have a very strong country music club here as well, which is really good too. But you know, I think now because the typical crossover that we're getting rock players that are kind of liking the country spin on us and things like that. But I believe it's due to the gaming and films. Yeah.
Okay. Good to hear. When I remember back to around 1987 or so, there was a band named Night Ranger, and they were playing also more or less heavy, really fast guitars on country sound. And that was the last point I really heard about new innovative country music. So that's not the worst thing to have our students playing country music. So it's handmade, it's full of feeling, it's full of crying, and it's full of heart. So could be worse.
That's true. Yeah, as we know, the country music has always been really good at telling stories and things, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
And I discovered myself, I've always enjoyed, you know, every style of music, but I really love the whole country. The new style that I've found, I'm sure it's been around for a wee while, but I've discovered dark or goth country. It's had a couple of names, but and it's yeah, because again, as I said, I sort of love the whole storytelling and love the movie kind of. It paints in my head when I hear music. I sort of imagine it, so it's a very strong picture in my head. So this whole dark country I'm finding is really interesting. So maybe sometime soon I start to write something like that. So if all of a sudden you see me writing some country music, it's because I've become locked into this new style.
So you have to change the train to a horse, maybe, or to a donkey.
A donkey. Maybe that's right. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I'll start thinking some horse songs. All right.
And when you say dark country, is that about the lyrics? So like the Ghost Rider or something?
Yes. That's. I'm sure it means other things, but that's exactly the take that I have on it. That's what inspired me. It's this interesting, mysterious, loner that goes out there and he's instead, like you said, instead of being on the bus and traveling in style, it's or a train in style, it's now going to be on a horse, wandering through the desert, and so yeah, it's really dark. It's kind of interesting, dark lyrics, and of course, again, I'm finding that a lot of this music is now in games and things like that as well. So it's become a very popular style.
Okay, I never heard about, but that's something I also will have to think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's make dark country. Change the guitar to a banjo, and the train to a donkey, and we're done.
Perfect. Sounds good. Nice.
Have you something for me that will also sound nice? Do you have another unplugged song maybe to play?
Yes. So another one is Devil's Going to Pay. So this was not off the Midnight Blues, but this is one that I really enjoy. This is one of our popular ones that I wrote off an album called Fire on the Tracks. So a long time ago, but it's one that, again, it's more as a fun song. It's supposed to be taken in a fun way. And the spin on this was we always talk about going back to that, as you hear me often say, because I was so inspired by the Robert Johnson story of selling the soul to the devil. So we talk a lot, and we have a lot of songs about that story. But my whole thing is, instead of the devil coming to chase Robert Johnson, what happens if we chase the devil and make him pay for everything? So this song's called "The Devil's Gonna Pay."
Okay, do your best, Ryan.
Thank you.
The devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. The devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. The devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. The devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. Just outside the city lives a little evil man. Calls himself Papa Letto, and I don't want him around, and he's gonna pay. I said the devil's gonna pay, 'cause he's been hanging around so long, about time to just move on. Just outside the city lives a little crazy town. If you ever go down to Georgia, you just might see him around, and he's gonna pay. Said the devil's gonna pay, 'cause he's been hanging around too long, about time to just move on. The devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. The devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. Everybody knows the story about the lucky old Willie Brown. Never sold his Scotch rolls. I don't want him around, and he's gonna pay. Said the devil's gonna pay, 'cause he's been hanging around so long, about time to just move on. Yeah. Well, the devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. Yeah, the devil's gonna pay, yeah, the devil's gonna pay. The devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. The devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay. Well, devil man, just listen to me. You hear that guitar well? If you ever come across my path, I'm gonna send you rest to jail and you pay. That's right, you're gonna pay. You've been hanging around so long, about time you just moved on. You've been hanging around so long, about time you just moved on. You've
You've been hanging around so long that the time to just know the devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay, the devil's gonna pay, said the devil's gonna pay.
Yeehaw!
There you go. A little bit country, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. It's not so far away from the country.
Yeah. See, so it's in me somewhere. So I might have to write a little bit of country.
Yeah, yeah. Let's try that out. Why not?
Why not?
Better than making. I have to say that it's much better than making plastic crap music.
Amen to that. Well said. I'm with you. Very well said. And I guess that's the other thing, isn't it? Is that yeah, blues has evolved, of course, but we're lucky it hasn't kind of turned into electronic. I'm sure there is electronic blues music. I haven't heard it, but I bet you it's out there somewhere. But we've stayed true to our roots and things like that, and our instruments and that. So that's really nice that blues has changed, but it's still got its heart and soul.
Yeah, country also has changed. The songs I've heard, the new country songs I've heard from UK are a little bit different, a little bit more, let me say, freshed up. But it's still country. It's still the same 11 notes on the guitar.
That's right.
So, at the end of the show, I grabbed down The Devil's Gonna Pay as a video. So we have the proof if that Ryan Neville is playing that really in person or not.
Uh-oh. Gulp.
So, my last question for today, I'm always asking the people about a message to the world. And I know you're living in the future from my point of view. And I always hear the future may look bright, but I see that the future will have some earthquakes and some snowstorms and so. So don't lie to me. What is your message to the people?
Oh, okay. I would have to think about that one. But yes, I always like to kind of, have a positive kind of message, and, to keep on enjoying the music that you are enjoying. A lot of times we get told, everyone has their own impression of what's good music and what's bad music. But if music makes you feel good, listen to that as long and as often and repeat over and over and over. Like I've said, if you have, tough times in your life, music is a wonderful way to heal. So keep on listening to your favorite music, and let music inspire you, and let music be there for you when you need, and enjoy.
Yeah, I've read one word in Facebook a time ago. Music won't heal the world, but it may heal one night for you. When you're in trouble or when you're sad or something. Music is a part of our heart.
That is very, very good. And as we know, we use it in everything. We shop, we listen to music, if we exercise, we listen to music, so it's a massive part of what we are doing. And being able to embrace that and take that on and find those songs. To me, I don't know about you, but, I have playlists for certain times, when I'm feeling certain feelings and things like that. It's a nice way to heal when you need to. It's a nice way to unwind and relax. So, it's really good that we have music for all different reasons.
Yeah, and if you don't want to get too much involved into music, then go into the next elevator and listen to that nice elevator jazz sound in there. It's amazing. You don't have to think about, and you won't feel anything, but it's nice music.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. That is true. There's music for everything, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, thank you so much for your time today. I guess we'll have a lot of replays on that thing. We're going to post this show all around the world in all groups, and to all of you out there. Next week I will have the Rocking Engine. That's a metal band, a really cool metal band coming from Ottawa in Canada. And until then, don't stop listening to music made by Mr. Ryan Neville, because he's doing really, really cool stuff. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Jørg, thank you for everything that you do, and this is very much appreciate you having me on your show. So thank you once again, and hope everyone takes care, and we'll see you again at some stage.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. I think I will have a look at you if you are free for that on one. For you it will be a Friday, and for us it may be a Thursday. You may have heard about our show 30 Seconds.
Yes.
Did you hear about? And I could imagine that you would be a wonderful sacrifice for one of those shows for us. So
I would love
check
to.
it up. And I guess
any time I would love to. So thank you.
Okay. So Ryan, please stay in here. I'll start the video, and from my point, I say goodbye, people out there. Hope to see you back next week. And again, thanks. Ryan, take care and have a good time.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
The devil's gonna pay, yeah, the devil's gonna pay. The devil's gonna pay, yeah, the devil's gonna pay.
Well, just outside of the city lives an old evil man. Calls himself Papa Lat Bar, but I don't want him around. He's gonna pay. I said the devil's gonna pay, 'cause he's been hanging around too long. About time he just moved on. Heading west over yonder, you see a little crazy town. If you ever go down to Georgia, yeah, you might just see him around. He's gonna pay. I said the devil's gonna pay. Oh, he's been hanging around too long. About time he just moved on. Now everybody knows the story about the lucky old Willie Brown. You know he never lost his soul at the crossroads, but he wants to bring that man down. He's gonna pay. I said the devil's gonna pay. Yeah, he's been hanging around too long. About time he just moved on. Alright. Listen, do you hear that guitar wail? Well, if you ever come across my path, I'm gonna send your ass to jail, and you'll pay. That's right, you'll pay. 'Cause you've been hanging around too long. About time you just move on. 'Cause you've been hanging around too long. About time you just moved on. 'Cause you've been hanging around too long. About time you just moved on.